We back at you. Welcome to the niggerization of Silicon Valley. Here we are again. Before we left you, we talked about something the other day, and I asked you a question. I posed a question to you, and I want to just go ahead and wrap that up real quick. Now here we go again. Can you see that? Okay, so the question is, how can we turn racism into optimism? Now that's a very provocative question. So it gives us an opportunity to think a little deeper and go within our deeper mind. One way to do it is to look at things differently in what we call changing your prescription. Literally changing the prescription of your eyes and your third eye rather. So what we're going to do tonight, I want to share something with you, and we're just going to go from there. So let's just get started. Now, you may say, well, why is he wearing a hard hat? The brother got the hard hat on and the visibility, the safety jacket. What it is that, see, as black men, we have, and it's unfortunate, and I'm really just generalizing, but we have a reputation for not really wanting to work, not really being hard workers. Many of us tend to live by our wits, so to speak. And this is the niggerization of Silicon Valley. So we don't really cut. We got no cut card. Let me say it like that. So I wore the hard hat and the safety vest in order to let you know I'm here to work, because we're going to work on some things tonight. And I'm really talking to my black and brown founders. Okay, so let's get started. With that being said, I want to ask you a question. First of all, if you're currently building a startup in Silicon Valley or Texas or Florida, Bakersfield, wherever you may be, and you're in your garage or your bedroom or your basement, and you're literally trying to figure this thing out, I want to ask you one question. Are you thinking big enough? Let's start right there. Are you thinking big enough? Okay, because there are so many opportunities that we tend to miss. And the reason we miss these opportunities is this right here. Many of us lack this right here. What's called can you see that? What's called a singular focus. Make sure you get that. Singular focus. Now, some of you may ask, what is a singular focus? And I'm going to give you an analogy of what I call a singular focus. I was out moving around the other day, and I live in a city in a space where there are a lot of homeless people, a lot of dope fiends, homeless people, and people tend to look at them with a slide eye, whatever you want to call it, a cross eye. I don't. I see something different there. The Fetty don't took over just like AI, but I see something different in that space, in that individual mindset. So I was talking to one of my friends about it, and what I said was, no, that right there is a singular focus. Now society calls it addiction. Okay, well, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. Society, we cannot allow society to define how we perceive the world, how we perceive those around us. Society is really good at telling us what to think. Just so much dogma in the culture, in the society. So what I do is I see the dope fiend or the homeless person, and I see this person who has literally kicked it all out or sacrificed it all for the high, or that feeling. Let's call it a feeling. That's what it is. Some of you out there, you might be on that high, whether it be alcohol, whether it be this D or that D. You may be on that. Whatever the case may be, I'm not judging you one way or another. But what I see in the hardcore homeless dope fiend is that he or she has sacrificed everything for that right there. Now, we can call it addiction, but that's what you call a singular focus if I have ever seen one. That is a singular focus, if I have ever seen one. I mean, I'm talking about someone who lives and dies 24 hours a day to get that next blast or that next hit or that next toot, whatever you want to call it, or that next slam, whatever you want to call it. That is a singular focus. That individual does not care about food, clothing, shelter, and these are these are the hierarchy of needs. Psychological needs, the hierarchy: food, clothing, shelter. We get that. And then it goes love, connection, whatever the case may be. But we know the hierarchy. Maslow's hierarchy talks about food, clothing, shelter. This individual has basically said, bump that. I got a singular focus. I'm focused on this right here. Now, I said that to say this. What if we all, well, I'm not going to say that. What if you listening to me right now, what if you had a singular focus about your startup, about your venture, your company? What if you had a singular focus about, somewhere on the same, along the lines of the dope fiend, the hardcore hope to die dope fiend? What if you had that same singular focus where you just say, no, I can't go out tonight. No, I would love to have lunch. I can't do that. No, son, right now dad is busy. Baby, I would love to make love to you. I'm busy. Working on your startup or your venture or whatever it is that you're calling, so to speak. And that's how I think we got to be. I think we got to make a commitment so wild and so far out there that everybody thinks we're weird. I used to teach courses back in the day, and I would tell the guys about what's called the weirdo syndrome. The weirdo syndrome. So, and what I meant by that is that I would tell the guys, like, once your homeboys, or your homegirls for that matter, once your people start to see you as weird, that means you're starting to level up. That means you're starting to at least level up consciously within your mind and within your soul and spirit. When you start to detach yourself from everyone else in the sense that you're not trying to move with the crowd, you're not trying to move with the herd, and you're starting to move in your own direction, no matter what direction that is, they're going to call you weird. So really, that's a compliment. Hey, homie, you weird. When you hear that, that's a compliment, because it's like you've taken on a different perspective. You're blazing your own path, so to speak. And a lot of people feel threatened by that, especially people that are close to you or love you or proclaim to love you, or at least have a connection with you. That when they see you moving to your own beat of the drum, and they don't hear that drum beating, but they know you move in a certain way, that's powerful. That's where you want to be. You want to be, I'm not going to call it a victim, but you want to be a part of that homeboy syndrome or homegirl syndrome, where people start to see you as weird, because the minute they start to see you as weird, you know you're doing something right. Because you're starting to separate yourself from the herd, from the sheep. You're starting to separate yourself from the sheep. And so a big part of that, once again, is this. The singular focus. So really just start to say, look, man, nothing else matters but this right here. I'm 110% committed to this right here. Better yet, I'm 1,000% committed to this right there. I know they say, what is 1,000%? I just said it. The niggerization of Silicon Valley. I'm 1,000% committed to this right here. Whether it be, like I said, your venture, your company, your startup, bump life balance. Oh, well, we gotta have a life balance. Who says who? Says who? You be unbalanced. That's the goal. I don't need a life balance. I want to be unbalanced. Because I got a goal, I got something deeper than what other people say I should be pursuing. I have a deeper cause, a bigger cause within my subconscious mind, within my soul and my spirit. This is my purpose. This is why I was put here. So once you get to that point when you know why you're here on this physical plane, in this container, which is your soul, we're really spiritual beings. We're really spiritual beings on a physical plane, and this body is nothing but a container for the spirit. Okay, so once you understand your purpose, then that's when you start to excel. That's when you start to rise above. That's when you come into self-realization and self-enlightenment. That's when you start to accept yourself for exactly who you are. And that's when you start to know yourself and love yourself. So what does this have to do with tech? Everything. I'm not letting you young founders off the hook or you mature founders off the hook. Go harder, work harder. I don't care if they're not giving you capital, that's going to change. The Creator will make capital available for you. The Creator will make it manifest for you, but you got to give it all. You got to have a singular focus. Thank you for viewing the niggerization of Silicon Valley. As always, we love you. Keep your head up, stay strong, stay foolish, stay hungry.